Usianguke kwa maji ukisema tu I work with water.
I'm water.
You are water.
33 vertebrae, I'm back. I'm out here in the heart of nature, raising the frequency, raising the vibration, bringing awesome energy from the sun, from the water, from the air, and from the earth. So today I'm here with a guest. I'm with Wairimo, a somatic healer, and we're going to learn more about somatic healing. So before we begin, let me just open with a chant. Mahadevi, Maheshwari, Jai Ravi, Linga Bhairavi. Beautiful. Now, Sam with Wairimo, and maybe just introduce yourself to the guests, and then we can pick from there and learn more about what you do.
Okay. So hi, 33 vertebrae people.
Yeah.
My name is Wairimo. I'm actually a somatic therapist, and that's what is derived to become somatic healing. Yeah. So I'm excited to be here, and I can't wait to get into the conversation. Thank you.
Yeah. So Wairimo, we met a few days ago. We were in this spiritual meeting, and we talked about sound. So I'm interested and excited of how to use sound, especially in healing, and that's what we're here about. So maybe just tell us what is somatic healing, like for those who've never heard about this.
Okay. So somatic therapy is the method of intervention when trauma disconnects us from our bodies. And basically it actually disconnects the brain from the rest of the body. So someone only exists at this part, but this other part is waiting for them to come in, and maybe they don't know how to relate after the disconnection that happened due to trauma. So yeah, we use, when I say we, I just mean my professional network, but we use body-based interventions to allow our clients to be able to start meeting themselves anew after the trauma happened. So in essence, somatic healing is where we start the reconnection journey between the brain and the body through the nervous system. Yeah. And
Yeah, yeah. So I understand the nervous system. So mostly the traumas that you face, those are like negative energies that you are having in the body, and we need to distribute in a Chinese, we always call it chi, life force. How life force moves around the body. So it moves around the nervous system and stuff. So trauma is about blockages in some of the nervous system. Yeah. So we are using sound to send the chi around the body to release the body and maybe access healing. Right?
Yeah. So I have something to say on that. In trauma, when it comes to trauma, we don't believe in negative or positive energy being held.
Okay.
Reason being, it's the life force, as you're describing it, the chi. It is the life force that is stuck somewhere. So the mechanism behind it, now we're about to get a bit technical, but the mechanism behind it is whenever we face challenges, our body mobilizes energy to allow us to face up that challenge and move forward, which means that whenever a traumatic event happens, there's a disruption of that flow by the stress response system. It's what decides, do we fight, do we flee, do we freeze? So whenever a traumatic event happens, that cycle, the stress response cycle, is what is disrupted, and then life force is trapped in our bodies.
So it's like a protective mechanism that the body goes into.
Yes.
Yeah, to protect itself from the danger or the thing that's going on.
Yes.
Yeah. So by having a somatic experience, we are now releasing and allowing the life force to flow all through.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
you're a very good listener.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's more of discharging, because again, it's the body's own mechanism to protect itself. So when it gets the right conditions for safety, which is what we start establishing between a client and I, when we find those conditions of safety and negotiate our connection, the body just does what it needs to do. So you might find someone doing this. They might be like your toes are wiggling, so that there's a discharge happening. We don't have to go into it, but there's something happening. You'll find other people want to just rest their shoulders a bit more. Sometimes they're able to lean back to receive support because the body knows how to get what it wants. That is the body's intelligence, similar to what the voice does. Yeah.
I get this point because I understand is you've corrected me from the negative thing, though I'm used to using the negative term because just to understand the other feelings that we don't like experiencing. But they are doing their work.
Yes.
It's not like it's something negative as such,
Yes.
but they are playing their own role. In the same way. So like maybe just let us know like what is a somatic experience? How is the experience?
We've landed on that question. So a somatic experience is basically being in touch with your body. Again, through negotiating our connection, like we are right now. We are negotiating our connection, right? And through also establishing safety. So for you, when I came in, you told me that you work with the water. And I see that the water is behind you. So for that could mean it's a marker of safety. For me, I mentioned that I have to say hi to the trees because my people are here. So that's a marker of safety for me.
Okay.
When that happens, our body naturally just comes back online and expresses what needs to be expressed. Like right now, I'm already expressing, which means I'm present with all that is, and my body is speaking. It's saying, there's an expansion somewhere right here. There is support on this side. There is the water. There are the trees. As you can see, my hands are moving. So somatic experiencing is that real life and real time being in contact with your body.
So from what I'm getting, it's really similar to grounding. I always call it grounding. But then what I'm doing here, I always call this dimensional break. A time when you just break away from everything in the middle of the city and just get into another dimension. Walk barefoot like we are barefoot here right now, just connecting with the earth, connecting with nature, connecting with everything. And then I think that by having that connection, we are now the release just starts going in because the body is coming to a state whereby things are now coming back to normal. So the flow of chi, let me use that word.
Yes, yes, it's a very important one.
The flow of chi just gets back and we are releasing everything. Like when we began the show, I always start with this kind of chant. What I'm doing with the chant is like I'm just bringing everything into equilibrium, grounding. So that I'm sending chi all over the body and also in this environment.
Yes, yes, and it's not just that. So I like that you've already mentioned Mother Earth because Mother Earth is the biggest and most intricate nervous system we have access to. This is why you're not with nature, you're not in nature actually, you're with nature because your nervous system connects to the other nervous system which is big and it's all around the world. So again, it's kind of an allegory of how big and small we are. That just came in. But the other thing is I practice qigong, and on a daily I get to notice where my energy is and which parts of the meridians in my body are stuck. So it's important for us to start coming back to our bodies. And what trauma does is that it disconnects us from ourselves. So tunaishi huko nje, we are looking, oh, Nani is wearing like this, she's working this job, he is traveling here and there, he has this money. And like what is happening in your heart? Like this is how I begin my conversations with my clients. Misawa, the government is doing this, whoever has employed you is doing that. But what is happening right here in your heart, in your relational space? Because that is where the biggest disconnection happens. And once you're able to find that starting point, like imagine tiles are moving consistently, and all of them are moving so rapidly that you don't know which one to stand on. And then suddenly you find one and step on it, and then it's asking you, like the way I'm asking someone, what is happening in your heart space? It's easy to notice the outer world. So when we get that, we start finding an opening ya kurudi ndani, coming back inside where we are connected to our resources, to our knowledge, and to all the gifts that our ancestors passed down the bloodline.
When we talk about the inside, is always something I always emphasize to my guests to always live from the inside out. You know, we always think that this is another person, like say this is Wairimu, this is Jim. So we are different, but we are always connected, because there's always connection between you, the body that you think here is you, and everything else. A good example I like giving is the earth. The earth is the mother. The earth is 70% water. Your body is 70% water. So the elements are always related, meaning it's the same thing, just experiencing or expressing itself in a different way. The same way it's expressing itself as a human being, as Werimo, is also expressing itself as a tree. Yeah, and also expressing itself as what, as anything else that you see around. So there's no disconnection between you and anything else. Yeah. So for you just to understand yourself, all you need to do is understand yourself and go in. I always say by going into meditation, you get to understand yourself and who you really are. So by understanding yourself, you understand everything else, because you'll see the connection. It will just start coming in. Then another point I want to emphasize is the point on our ancestors. You know, when you always say our ancestors did this, our ancestors did this, some people, okay, many people always just think it's certain kind of, maybe your grandfather or what. Your ancestors are everything that is connected to you, not necessarily limited to a human being. It's everything that is making you experience life as you are experiencing here right now.
I feel like as you say that, I feel like you're actually describing the spiritual life, because it's about connectedness. It's about knowing that you're part of the larger web of life. But when it comes to ancestors, it's actually all about blood. It's all about who birthed us. Our parents, they're behind us already. So this is why we cannot help our parents. We cannot be solutions to them. We can only live forwards. So our parents are behind us, and then their parents are behind them, and then their parents' parents are behind them. Can you start seeing an image in your mind?
I'm seeing a billion people behind me, and I feel like I'm an awesome guy. I'm protected by billions of people behind me.
And that's it. So the ancestry is all about the bloodline and how your blood has traveled.
Okay.
I have roots in Agekoyo, and then my other roots come from the Luo land. So when I think back, I'm like, okay, so the masculine, the dad is usually on the right side. So I'm like, okay, my dad, my mom, their parents, their parents' parents. I'm like, oh, this is so amazing to be part of such rich genetics that they required my blood to meet another kind of blood for it to create me. So you see, there's also that part of belonging, and the wind is checking in here.
That's what I'm telling you. There's that connection is never going on. So I want to add something on the ancestral and the bloodline. So you know, when you're talking about the bloodline, I have to talk about DNA, because that is part of my work. So the DNA, we have the physical DNA, which carries the bloodline and everything, which is just 3% of the DNA. Then we have this quantum DNA, which is invisible, which is 97%, which carries the rest of everything. These, I don't know if you are aware about the Merkaba, the Merkaba body that we have, that everybody has, and it's the connection between you and everything else. That is what connects you to everything else. That's why when we are here under a tree, the tree also has its own Merkaba. Yeah, and that is how you connect with it. So that when you are under a tree, the healing happens at the Merkaba level, at the quarter, which is still the DNA. Which is still the DNA. So the bloodline is the 3%, because that is the physical, which takes care of the physical aspects of you, and it carries a lot of things that you already mentioned, a lot of memory. That's what we're talking about. But now this quantum has even more memory. That is what carries the connection and everything else, the past and the future. Everything else is all there. So what matters is how connected are you to your DNA.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, as you speak, I'm just thinking about we've gotten into the subtle energies.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's where we are. That's where we are. That is the quantum and stuff. When I will go to the Merkaba, the magnetic fields. Yeah, because you know that is my area. I'm always so much in the magnetic fields, because that is where I'm really called into. Though I
Okay.
can talk about other aspects of spirituality, but my core area is usually the magnetic fields. That's why I always, when you start a conversation on DNA, I can really dig deep into it.
I see. So as you mentioned that, I'm just remembering some research. I forget by who, but research actually shows that when the sperm meets the egg, or when the egg attracts the sperm, and then they meet for fertilization to happen, light is emitted.
Yes.
So we are actually children of light,
Yes.
regardless of the circumstances around our birth. We are children born of light. And then spiritualists have this, they've mapped out the magnetic field around someone, and they say that it's actually a bubble and it's 6 feet mbele, like in front of you, and 6 feet behind. So you can imagine how powerful we are when we are connected with ourselves and the subtle bodies.
Yes.
Just the bodies that hold, again, everything together. I think of it as knitting. They actually weave everything together such that our belonging is not questionable. And this is also why anytime we are made to feel like we don't belong, we have very adverse reactions, because that is touching at a core part of humanity, a core part of our dignity.
Yeah, that's why we are always striving for freedom. We always want to be free of something. We just want to be free. But the problem is that, okay, we were trapped to think. Now for you to get stuck on the material things, you get the freedom that you want. But most of us who have the material things already sorted, again realize that that is not really what they are striving for, because they are always looking for freedom of something. There's some freedom they're trying to seek, but now the freedom really comes from inside, because when you're free inside, everything else just becomes what it is, because you'll be focusing on what really matters.
That's true.
And not be caught up in the trap of chasing things that will not really fulfill or bring out who you are and be free.
Yeah, as you share that, I'm
Yeah.
just realizing that yes, our paths have finally met, because in somatic therapy, when a client comes to me, I already believe them. Like, this happened to me, I believe you. I don't need you to defend, to justify, mention it as a truth. Because up nje, again, when we lack these open spaces for expression, people always want to defend themselves. They want to say, oh, but I like this, but I'm like, stand in your truth, because clearly there's an environment that has injured you outside there. And then when you come to now to my healing container, we actually work together for you to experience that freedom.
Yes.
For you to find your baseline, which is happiness, joy, and freedom. Trauma rewires us for self-protection, and this is why cycles of violence continue, because I'm afraid, will you hurt me? And you're afraid if I'll hurt you.
Yeah.
But healing invites us to expand in the present moment, basically in being here and now. And when you're here and now, there's joy, there's peace, there's connection, there's support, there's all these elements in the subtle bodies that are holding us together.
Yes.
And then beyond that, there's life itself weaving us into existence.
Yes.
I didn't know we would meet on the 22nd at the Nairobi Spiritualist Supermarket. I didn't know we'd shoot a small video together and collaborate. But when the opportunity to connect came up, I took it, because I'm a human being. I am wired for connection, and so are you.
Yeah. 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 So something that really come up is that healing is mostly about meeting yourself. Like, for me to go through my healing, okay, for me to become whom I am today, I had to go through deep pain, and I had to go through the healing. And the healing in my case, I didn't go seeking healing outside there, because whatever was being proposed outside there was not working for me. So I had to find something that could bring me to meet myself. Yeah. So that's how I got to connect into the spiritual methods, got into the grounding, and I really got to know an aspect of myself that I was never taught in school. Nobody taught me about, even asked me in exams about really what I'm talking about here right now. But I came to be this person, and the knowledge I have and the experiences I have came through really connecting with who I am. I really forgot everyone. I blocked everybody out of my life, and I just connected with me, just me and nature. And from that connecting with nature, I came to really understand who I am And that's why when I talk about and say that me and nature is the same thing, I know what I'm talking about. You know, sometimes it's difficult to understand such kind of concepts if you are just caught up on the outside. Another thing we talked about being present. Look, the only time we have is now.
That's true.
There's no other time. Whatever we are is good. The only time is what we're doing here right now is what you should be focused on. Not that we're here creating a content and then your mind goes somewhere else. Yeah. So we should always just focus on present. And when you're always focusing on the present, everything else just figure. And you'll come to realize that most of the things that really disturb us or the issues that we have are mostly things we just created in our minds.
That's true.
Yeah,
And as you say that, I'm actually realizing something. Well, connecting some dots. When we experience trauma, that first impact disconnects us from ourselves. And then our survival brain, or the survival part of our bodies, of our animal bodies, is what feels like there's another threat to disconnection. So that's why people start becoming at war with themselves. They're like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. And then they want to disconnect from other people and the subtle energies because they're like, I can't trust that nature has me. I also cannot trust that someone I have seen before has space for me. I don't think I can trust my family. And yoyote, it's because there's that illusion of separation. You mentioned this earlier on, that we are not separate from earth, we are not separate from water, we are not separate from one another, and we are not even separate from the subtle energies. So we are essentially we are held together at this with this intricate web, and our space is assured. Because again, another reason why we fight and we fight like and squeeze each other on the street is because we don't think we have space. But in the larger scheme of things, if my name is Mary Wairima and my number is 123, that is my number in the larger web of life. And so coming back into connection, as you mentioned, through nature, coming back into connection through nature actually rewires us, not just our nervous systems, actually, it rewires our minds as well and rewires our life. Because as I mentioned earlier, we are relational beings. So minus relationships, we are not living. Minus relationships, we are not well health wise. Minus relationships, we do not have witnesses, so we don't believe we are real. There's a reason why even in the traditional African context, we never used to have mirrors. We used to have each other. So like my sister would look at me and tell me, oh, you look really nice. And I would trust her word. But now if she tells me I have to go to the mirror to confirm, I feel like there's also something to do with the Luo and water, where a woman would see her beauty on the reflection of the surface of the water instead of looking at the mirror. Because again, it reinforces connection and it affirms life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the water is really sacred to many communities, especially as the Luo. Water is like life, is like everything. But anything we need to do, we always go to the water. When you need to think, we go to the water. When you need to eat, we go to the water. Anything, our life revolves around the water. So water is always a very significant thing. And it's also 70% of the element. So you see, super, super critical. And I also love the water because water is information. The source of all information comes from the water. That's why I always record my content from the water because I know I'm speaking for the water right now. Yeah. So another thing about the water is that water is so if you want to know anything, always just go to the water and calm down. You know what happens here is like we've told about the subtle energies now. The water body, this is the physical aspect. But there's also some aspect of the subtle aspects of the water. So as we sit here, the magnetic fields are connecting. We are connecting with the water. That's how the information is being connected and being transported like that. So when you need to get healing from the water, it's the same concept. So your magnetic field is connecting with the magnetic field of the water, and that's how healing takes place because it brings the balance and brings the equilibrium. You know, water always changes according to the environment. When you become angry, the water takes that form. When you become happy, the water takes that form. So natural water bodies always have a greater influence to you than you affecting them. So because they are always in a very stable condition. That's why when you sit around it, obviously it has to change your subtle energies and bring it to equilibrium. So that's how the water really it really works. Yeah, so that's why I'm always connected with the water and I love the water. And water is everything. Okay, all elements are important.
But I get that. I get that because even in the Agikoyo community, and that's where like I was trying to go to. In the Agikoyo community, women specifically, if we were in distress, we would walk with our age mates down to the river and sit by the banks to listen to the water flowing.
Yes.
And through that listening, the technology, as you're describing it, the healing and essence, the energetic support, the witnessing, because water witnesses us as well, would just go into a woman's ears, settle the mind, settle the body, and suddenly all the symptoms would ease.
Yes, another point I wanted to mention, water is so feminine in nature. It's one of the elements that's feminine. So femininity and the woman are super, super, super connected. Yeah, in the Luo we have this folklore of a woman called Nyami, Nyamigondo. Yeah. So this woman, it's the legend says that there was this man who was very poor, so he loved to go to the water. So then a woman came from the water on one time. Just a beautiful woman from the water who lives from the water, just a being from the water. So it came and blessed the man. But he told the man, you only need to do one thing. Just be loyal to me.
And then,
but this man, after getting the wealth and all, he started bragging because he forgot where the wealth is coming from. He forgot it was from the woman. Yeah. So the woman got. He started mingling around with some very many women in the village. So the woman said, "Okay, you forgotten about me. I'll go back to the water and I'll go back with everything that I came with." And that's exactly what she did. She went back to the water with everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's something about Africans. As Africans, we're not just physical beings. We are also spiritual beings, and it's weaved in our day-to-day lives. So religion came to disrupt that. And I know there are people who found that balance in as much as they also practice religion. They also understand the sacredness of being an African. But as you say that, I'm just thinking, I'm just thinking about this story is actually talking about reverence. Like reverencing, where do I come from? This is why it's good to welcome the ancestors in conversations. Like in the morning, I woke my ancestors up. I was like, where? We are going to Uhuru Park. I'm terrified because I don't know about the security situation, but I am going because I had an appointment.
Yeah, they're around us.
Yeah, they're around us. So like when we don't acknowledge them, again, it further deepens the disconnection. Because tayari you're feeling like, my neighbor does not like me. In fact, I think they're plotting against me. My chat buddy, I don't see like they're good to me. I don't know my who. So if you do not acknowledge that there's that support of the subtle bodies, like through the ancestors, through the elements around us, you start feeling like I actually don't belong at all. And that brings more fragmentation. So in somatic healing, we start weaving all these different parts together. The parts that felt disconnected because of trauma, the parts that felt like there's no space for me because someone bullied you at some point when you tried expressing through your voice. We start weaving together what was fractured due to religion, due to belief system and dogma built around religious circles. Like we approach the human on all levels, not just the energy that's stuck in the joints. We go a bit deeper because in somatic therapy, we get back to the first language that our body knows, which is sensation. Like, how do you know you're pissed off? Does someone tell you, by the way, you're angry?
No, it's just a certain kind of emotion that comes in. Yeah, and then these emotions are also connected with the body parts. I came to know this because, for example, something like grief. Grief is connected with the lungs. So if you are really a lot of going through grief, you realize that some of the things that will be most of the things will be affected will be your lungs. You're even going to things like smoking and stuff because they're related to the lungs, things connected to the lungs because that is the things you're going on. So by releasing things from different parts of the body, different body organs, we are releasing different emotions in the body and you are getting healing. So people always ask her, One question I saw online: how do I know that I've been healed? Yeah, yeah,
I like that one.
yeah.
And I think I've also received that question because I'm usually asked, but you know, if I book a healing session with you, will you tell me what to do? And I'm like, no, I will not. Your body is what will tell us.
Yes.
But there are two things that happen. Number one, the traumatic event happens. You have to keep coming back there because that's where disconnection starts from. So the traumatic event happens, and then your mind, it rushes to rationalize. Now, this thing has happened so that I can grow. This thing has happened for a reason. But it's your body that remembers that pain. It's not the mind. The mind is very good with narratives. And so it forms a traumatic meaning. So when you ask someone, how comes when you speak to women, you're condescending, but when you speak to men, you use that voice with them. I know you know what voice I'm talking about. And then this person will start saying, it's just the way I am. But our identities are not fixed like that. Nothing is fixed. It's not like a rock that you pour on some concrete and then it hardens. No. Our identities are meant to be flowy, adaptable, and just easy. So when they come and we start this healing work, we start by mapping out where all the parts are left. You know, others are left behind, others are far in the future. When we come now to the present moment, something new happens.
Yeah. Okay. Something I want to mention here is about, we've mentioned about women and men. Then I want to bring the concept of feminine and masculine. So, you know, these are two different concepts which are not the same. When we talk about feminine energies, we're not talking about being a woman. We're talking about subtle energies which are feminine in nature. Like when I was saying that the water is feminine, I'm not saying the water is a woman. I'm saying the water has feminine energy aspects. Now, in the subtle spaces, things are feminine and masculine. But now, when we come to the physical, we have female and male. So, in the physical, the female represents the feminine energies, though they exist in both. A woman has both feminine and masculine energies. Yeah, they exist in both. The same thing with a man. They has both feminine and masculine. So now, when you're doing the healing, when you go into the healing, especially the healing aspects, healing is mostly to do with feminine energy. That's why we always we always say that women have this healing energy with them. But just with the woman, is that healing energy that comes in because they represent the feminine aspects of life. Yeah, which is where the healing really comes in. Yeah. I also want to talk about the sexual energy. Sexual energy is also feminine in nature. Yeah, and that is where the healing is talking about the flow of chi. All those are feminine energies we are talking about. Yeah. Or in the Indian, we always talk about the Kundalini energy, the movement from the root to the crown. Yeah, I always do that with my people, and I think I'll do, because today is a full moon. I won't live without doing that. Yeah, yeah, because we are working with the feminine energy of, and you know, creation also is about the feminine energy. We create using the feminine energy. That's why in most of creation, it is the female that gives birth. Yeah, I'm saying in most because not all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in
That's
most
true.
of creation, it's the female that gives birth, because that is how the life force, the energy of creativity, creation, it's feminine in nature. So even the somatic therapy and healing, we are really working with moving the feminine aspect, and I really like it.
Don't speak for somatics. Please don't do that. Don't do that. So, so as I was saying, thank you for that intermission, because it's helped to create a better understanding of the energies.
Yes.
So again, I was talking about the traumatic meaning, which comes from the brain, and then the healing meaning comes from the body, because the body certainly understands that, oh, I'm actually safe. Whatever I thought would end me did not end me. I am here. I'm alive. I am here. I exist. So the body itself starts saying, oh, so now I can just rest my shoulders a bit more. Okay. Oh, so I can call my friend and just say, hi, you know, I thought about you today. I don't have to think about them and then start closing myself down, because I don't know, what if I contact them and then they shut me down. So in somatic healing, we work with all energies. Let me start from there. We work with masculine, feminine, we work with both of them, because there's a clear understanding that in the ancestry, I come from a man and a woman coming together. So the right and the left coming together for me to be created.
Yes.
And because of that, there is that aggression that is protective, that is very masculine. It's very Martian energy. It's very warrior-like. That's the fight response. So when a client comes to me with a fight response, I don't give in to the fight. First of all, pole.
You calm them down.
Yeah, I will not give you the satisfaction. Why? Because that is energy that is looking for the appropriate channel through the body. The wind is here again. It was heard about fire and showed up.
Also masculine energy. Let's bring it in.
Yeah. Yeah. So this fight response is basically energy that is saying something must change. But when you project it outwards, we do not know what it is. You're not projecting on anything in particular. But when you come into my healing space, we start dancing with that flame. We dance with that fire so that it may say, this is where I want to go. Like in the recent past, someone has come to me with such kind of energy, which was very fiery. And then once we grounded together, they realized, actually, it's not you I want to fight. It's that friend of mine who frustrated me.
Yeah.
And so you see, we started untangling this anger from being projected towards everyone so that it can come back inside and decide, okay, so this is the change we want. We don't want a friend who is disrespectful. And then there's the other aspect where someone might come when they're too low, they're almost lifeless because they feel helpless. It's called learned helplessness. Because trauma does that. Trauma robs our power. Like where we should have made a decision, it made the decision for us. So we are left wondering, so where exactly do I belong? And I feel like that's more of water in a very small stream when it's meant to be a whole river flowing and bursting with life. So when a client comes to me like that, I just know, okay, so they're almost freezing, and that's a response. They're almost phoning because they're even asking me, how should I sit? And I'm like, but I'm asking you, how do you want to sit?
Yes, yes. You know, one thing I want to mention is the healing that you are seeking. Nobody out there is going to provide the healing. The healing comes from you.
Yes.
This person is just giving you a condition, bringing a condition for you to settle and access your own healing. Yeah? Nobody is going to heal you. Healing comes from inside. Another person was mentioning about was saying that somatic is just about the body and not about voice. Yeah. But I want to say that voice is how you project your power, because that's how you bring things from the inside to outside. So even if you're sending energy throughout this body, so you're using the voice to sound, to send that power. That's why when you laugh, it's just healing, because you're sending vibration from inside you to the outside. Yeah. So that's what we're doing here. I don't want to speak about somatic.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad you understand that boundary.
Yeah.
So as we deepen into somatic healing, actually, so grounding is the first step. I like that we've established that, but there's so much more because we ground so that we can get into the body very, very slowly. And then as we continue with our negotiation, we negotiate connection and the conditions around our connection. And then the body establishes safety. So safety is not outside us as well. It's within, and the body just knows what makes it feel safe. And again, I bring you back to the point where you told me I'm all about the water. And I told you I'm all about the trees. And it was so amazing to know that we already know what feels safe to us.
Yes.
That's a level of self-awareness.
Yeah.
In a deeper sense, it's also about, again, coming back to the whole body and then allowing the messages that needed to be expressed but were not expressed because of the disconnection from trauma and disconnection from life as a whole. So somatic healing work is life affirming work. We are affirming that you're alive. We are affirming that you have struggled. We are affirming that trauma is part of the life experience. And we are also normalizing healing as a moment-to-moment experience. It's not something that you need to only access in therapy. You come in therapy, we work together so that your body can start knowing what feels safe. And then ukitoka, when you go back to your home, you start practicing the new things you're learning and the new ways your body is seeking to express. So now it becomes an all-rounded kind of approach. And which means that your voice matters. I've told you that we're negotiating connection.
Yes.
As we negotiate, Usha say my yes. So it's a yes, I can proceed. So when someone says yes verbally, something, their throat chakra opens up.
Yeah.
After closing down and collapsing due to disconnection.
Yeah.
And then when they come in the next session, I'm like, okay, so the way you're seated, does it feel okay? I'm wiggling to also check in. And then they'll say, okay, let me listen to my body. Actually, it's okay. And then I ask them, are you saying it from your mind because you're used to phoning, people pleasing Yani, or is it the body? If it's the body, which part is saying yes? Then they'll say, oh, it's my thighs that are saying it's okay for me to sit down. It's my hips that are okay. And you see, slowly by slowly, we start awakening the throat chakra so that light, the light that you were born with, can find space to come through. On the 22nd, I sang a song to you, I remember.
Yeah.
And in that song, like the author was saying that, I've been wondering when will such a moment come and open up for me? And now that it's here, let me celebrate it. That's like a very loose paraphrasing of it.
Okay.
And when a client visited my healing space at the Spiritualist pop-up market, her voice came online and that song came up again. And when we sang, she told me that she can see how the life force that was stuck around here has finally found a path to move out and to spread. So now, as she imagines herself creating life, it's coming through her voice.
Yes, because your voice is the power. Your voice is how you express your inner self. You know, one thing that I've taken from this is that you really need to know who you are. If you really don't understand yourself, it's difficult to access healing. Yeah, and in yoga practices, we always understand ourselves in four aspects. The body, we see it in four. The first one, we call this the food body, the physical body, because this is the physical, is about the food we've accumulated, because we started from teeny bit until who we are today, the food we've eaten. Yeah. The second body, we call it the emotional body, the emotions that we feel around us. Yeah. That is mostly to do with the energies and even the subtle energies that we're talking about. That is now the emotional body. And that's why we do the numerology and stuff to understand this emotional body. How do we have it? What do we carry in it? What skills do we have? That is the emotional body. Then the third body, we want to talk about, we always say the mind body. We always say that every part of the body is mind. Yeah. Like for example, sometimes we think through the brain, the upper brain is another mind. Sometimes you think about the gut, that's another mind. We always say, I have this gut feeling, yeah, which is sometimes always in the future, something that just think that will happen, then it happens. Yeah, it's a gut feeling, it's your gut thinking. Yeah, the stomach, the digestive system, that's a body of its own. So the whole body is mind. Yeah, yeah. So and then finally the spirit itself, the essence that descended now. Yeah, but these bodies are not like they are separate.
Yeah.
It's one thing.
When trauma happens, it separates all those parts. That's why I'm saying that we start. That's why I'm saying we start weaving them back together, so that coherence may become a reality.
Yes.
There are people who speak from here, and this is basically this part of our head is associated with the prefrontal cortex, yani not context. So prefrontal cortex, which is the thinking brain. This is where we strategize, we plan, we show up for meetings, we check boxes. And then there's the emotional body is represented by the limbic system, which is known as the emotional brain. And then below here is the survival brain. So crocodiles only have the survival brain because it's also known as the reptilian brain. When trauma happens, it fragments the mind, the brain, this part of the mind that you're describing. And then it disorganizes every other part such that it could be cold and you're sweating, but really your body is cold, but the symptoms are sweating. It could be very, very hot. You're wearing 3 sweaters because you're feeling cold, you're even shivering, and you're not sick. When you go to the hospital, the doctor says, actually, you're not sick, but there is something, and it is stress related. So when you come to somatic experience, to this somatic therapy space, we start allowing the body to say all the things it needs to say. It needs to say, oh, my mom pushed me and I felt her contact here when she pushed me. The body there's a way that the body will speak, and then as we listen to that part, the story will become clearer, because I mean the fact that we not only just express ourselves through the voice means that even our imagination is part of that expression.
Yes.
Even our movement, like as I do this, I'm feeling so
Yes.
nice. It's part of that expression. So we create the conditions. Again, we don't just create, we negotiate them.
Yes.
So that the body gets what it needs to feel safe, and then what it needs to express its deepest pain and stories.
Yeah, like you said, it's the first thing is to bring the body to feel safe. And bringing the body to feel safe is grounding. Yeah. And that's why we use the earth, the mother, to ground. Yeah. To ground from the earth. That's why me, I always tell you when I'm doing the alignments, still the same thing that she's talking about. Because the alignment, I'm bringing all these 4 body parts to coherence. Yeah. So always tell you, seated for your position like I'm seated. That is, I'm connecting the root chakra to the earth because they are one thing, they're connected. So once we just sit on the earth and connect, just like plugging your charger into the socket. Once they are connected, the body has to go to equilibrium because it has to get into the same level as the earth. We always call it the Schumann resonance. So they start beating at the same level. That is the grounding. Yeah. So once they are connected, now we can now start bringing the rest of the bodies, now the mind, the emotions, the spirit, so they can all come together in equilibrium. And now you start now the healing. Yeah.
I see that, and actually, what you're describing is called co-regulation. So
Okay.
we are back to the nervous system. Yeah. So disconnection from trauma, it disrupts our nervous system. It disorganizes our nervous system, which means again, your body keeps sending misfiring signals instead of sending the right communication. Like right now, how would you know you're feeling hungry? How would you know?
Yeah, my stomach will start jiggling and telling me things.
That's nice. So someone who is disconnected from themselves might just not feel hungry at all. The sensations of hunger might not be there because the body is not able to communicate because of the disconnection that's happened. So in co-regulation, when we ground together, when we find our feet, when we find our hips, finding our back, especially where the neck and the shoulders meet, and then establish that grounding, is essentially our nervous systems coming together and interacting. It's very subtle. When people hear nervous system regulation, they think that you have to do something. You don't. As soon as I stepped in, my nervous system was easy. I was looking for you and I just knew, this guy is around. Jim is around, so let me just call him. And then I saw you, and then my nervous system was like, we are good to go.
Yeah. Like I was saying, there is no disconnection between anything. Everything is connected around here. I always talk about the magnetic fields. Everything here, we were lied to that this air is empty. It's not empty. It's full of wires, connection going through. Like now, if you call someone, it's a technology connecting your phone to that other person's phone, and it's somewhere here, but you can't see it. There's so many radio signals going on here around here. Messages going through, emails going through, and they're all going through.
Money going through.
Money going through. Yeah.
Money.
Yeah. So the connection is always constant. It's all about when you're disconnected. In quantum physics, we always say that when you place your attention into something, you're connected and you are there. You're exactly there. So when you're sitting here and you start thinking of a vacation to Mombasa, you're in Mombasa, you're not here. Yeah. So it's super important where we place our attention. Yeah. Like when you're saying, we're going through the body parts. Yeah, we say, think of, move with the one, feel your body. How do you want to sit? How do you're bringing your attention to the body. We're now moving through the body, this physical body. You want to feel where is the pain? Where am I feeling the pain? So we can now bring and start doing the connection and doing the healing. And the beauty about this all you need to do is connect.
True.
The rest of it all will work out.
Right? Yeah, this is why trauma healing is moving from disconnection to connection. And in this connection, there are relationships. And the first relationship is within you. That's why one-on-one therapy sessions matter. So that we establish the connection within you, so that you're able to connect with other people and relate with them. And then on a larger scale, you'll be able to connect with your ancestors and relate with them. And then all the other subtle energies. because we do not exist alone. So when you say I am all alone, I feel like the world is ending because I'm all alone, that is an illusion. There is an illusion of separatedness that's been perpetrated by the systems that oppress us. And when we internalize that message, we start believing that we are alone, yet we are not. So it's just a gentle reminder that you are not alone, no matter what point of life you're in, no matter what is happening to you, no matter what is happening around you, you're not alone. You're part of the larger whole.
Yeah. One thing I like, an example I can use there is the angels concept. You always say, I have my angels around me. Yeah. But if you don't call on the angels and acknowledge that they are there with you and working for you, most of the time they don't work for you. Yeah. And that's why we always say that your angels are just seated, they're not working, because you are not calling unto them. You're not calling unto your ancestors. Hey, come, let's do this thing. Yeah. Like, when I'm doing the chant, when I begin the session, I start with the chant. What am I doing? I'm bringing in everything else that's supposed to be here working with me right now to come in.
The wind is back.
Yes. Just acknowledging that I brought them in.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's all about that. So we have to acknowledge all these, bring them to your awareness every time when you're present, when you're walking, when you're working, whatever you are doing. Acknowledge that they are always there with you. You're not alone. You're not alone. Because once you bring that quantum aspect into your common life, then you'll realize that you're now expanding who you are. You're expanding your bubble. You're expanding the area of reach. And you are able to connect even to greater things that should be working for you, that are not working for you right now.
Yeah. So there's something you mentioned about the men and women, masculine, feminine.
Yes.
And I'd like to highlight something about the men. We start with the men because you're here. So I'm honoring your presence.
Thank you.
This year, I think I've worked with a number of men because of my professional network. But outside, I realized that when I introduce myself as a somatic therapist or a somatic healer, men always wonder, are you sure this is a solution that men should come into?
Yeah.
And one of the ways that happens is that a man will inquire with me, can I book a session with you? And I'll say, of course you can, because my offering, my healing container is for everyone. And then they'll withdraw. Yet the men who actually come into my sessions end up realizing that, oh, so you're not just working with this softness that you keep describing is not just applicable to the women, it's applicable to men as well. And then they start referring their other men friends. They start telling them, oh, there's a therapist that I've worked with and I actually felt something different. I experienced something new.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you went for a one-on-one with her, you would actually benefit as well. So this is an open invitation to men, to you and to your men folk. Come, let us heal together.
Yeah. A point I want to add on that is, please, you may be a man, but you have feminine and masculine energies in you. Yeah. So, when a woman tells you, come, let's do, some things are just associated with women because they are highly feminine energies. But you also have feminine energies in you, which require that femininity for you to work with. Yeah. Most men are always like, so you're a man. And they don't want to do anything about a woman. But they forget you have feminine aspect in you, which most of us men, we always throw it away. You don't want to work with it. And that is the issue that is troubling most men. One thing I always like telling men is that it's okay for a man to cry, to shed tears, which is a very powerful way of healing. Yeah. What most men, were told to never shed a tear. Be a man. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you say that, actually, because of that conditioning, the voice is also cut off at that level. Because when we negotiate these conditions for our connection, and then I ask the man, okay, so how may I be of service to you today? They'll be like, oh my God, I thought you would tell me what. Again, the same thing of wanting to be told what to do because of the way we were conditioned. So what we do in our healing container, in the somatic therapy container, is we start allowing that conditioning to melt and dissolve off your body. As it dissolves, a man starts speaking out. So when I ask them, what do you need in this moment? They'll say, okay, let me check in with my body. Then they realize, I need some water. I need some food. I actually needed someone to listen to me and to just allow me to express myself fully. And that is where the masculine healing comes in. That's where it happens. Because being able to express yourself at work, being the person who, when you just everyone just acts right, does not mean that you're the same person who is able to advocate for your needs. And the dysfunctional relationship between men and women begins where men expect women to advocate for men's needs instead of the man speaking up that, oh, these shoes are very tight, I need to like remove them so that I can walk comfortably. I need support at home because I feel a bit disorganized, so I need a cleaning lady to come and assist me with that. I need this kind of food because this other food is not working really well. So when a man is able to genuinely express their needs, then there is no need for aggression anymore.
Yeah. You know what? One thing I came to notice about couples and families at home is that some men are always afraid to say what they really need or feel at home because of the conditions. At home, women are always fire. They run the house and they run everything. So men sometimes don't really want to say what they really feel about certain things. Like, I want this chair to be here. But the woman said, no, I want it here. Yeah? So you don't, you can't allow speak for yourself and really do what you really want because you're afraid of what will happen to the relationship. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So we really need to open up, be free. Freedom. We're coming back to freedom again.
Yes.
Be free and know who you are and live life as you are, being comfortable with your body, with who you are, all four aspects of self. That's why it's important. Know thyself, know who you are. And by knowing who you are, you begin to know that this life is all about you, just you, yourself. Then maybe the rest of the things come in to work in to help you now just co-create the rest of the universe and everything else. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, again, because we are coming back to the whole that has always been there, it means that even the way we relate to our people romantically, family wise, friend wise changes. Because when I understand that I am a human being, I respect myself as that, I dignify myself as that, then it's easy to humanize the other person, hold them in dignity, and allow them to be who they are, because suddenly we understand that there is space for us all. So if, for example, we're headed to the festivities and we know the Kenyan culture around alcohol, if at all your friend comes back and says, oh, I started therapy and I'm doing so well that I no longer need alcohol to connect with other people. Because of you, your own understanding of yourself, you're like, okay, that's welcome. What would you rather have? Oh, I would rather have a juice. I'd rather have some soda. I'd rather have some water. And right now, my right ear is ringing because I have touched on something. Yeah, but the other aspect is also the kindness that comes from that understanding. Because suddenly, kindness as a resource is no longer scarce. I access it every day because I am kind to myself, so I can afford to be kind to someone else. I access it every day because as I relate with my ancestors, I know I am supported. So I don't need to fight to be heard. I can just be present and say, okay, so something is emerging for me. As you arrange the chairs in this way, it's affecting me in this way. How can we find that point of connection, that point of relation? And then whoever is organizing says, okay, let's shift them this way. The same way we negotiated the placement of the camera.
Yes.
So it's really, really about relationships. So connection is about self-relationship, self-connection, connection to other people and relating with them, connecting to earth, relating to her, connecting to the sky, relating with the sky, connecting to the water, and all the other subtleties that are here to support us, that are here to collaborate with us.
Yeah. Like my intro, I always like mentioning the elements and bringing them because I'm connecting with all elements. I'm bringing them to be part of what I'm doing here. So somatic healing is all about connecting with yourself. That is the take I'm taking from here.
Yes.
Connecting with yourself, just being comfortable with who you are, learning to listen to yourself. One thing again is about the mind is most of us are always clouded in a lot of thoughts, just thoughts running endlessly. But we really need to learn how to calm the mind so that you are able to use it when we need to use it and drop it when you don't need to use the mind. We don't need to use the mind every time. Okay, we are brought up to think that you will always be thinking. What are you thinking right now? If you're not thinking something great right now, then you're not living. Yeah. You should always be thinking. But one thing I always do when I'm here by the water is that I go into a blank state. Zero. In fact, most of the time when I'm here grounding, that's why I call it dimension break. I break out of this reality and go into stillness where I have no thought about anything. I'm just there. In fact, everything I do is just to focus on the waves of the water, the sacred geometry that we see on the surface of the water. That's all I do. So, when you're in that kind of state, you learn to control your thoughts, because thoughts will always come. A thought will come, another one will come. You drop it, another one will come, another one will come. So by then you now start listening and knowing that what thought am I really thinking right now that is important for me.
I want to highlight something. As Africans, one of the technologies that's encoded in our DNAs and in our day-to-day life and in the geopolitical area we occupy is that we are relational beings. Nimerudi kwa relational beings. Okay, you have to cut this. You'll have to cut this, but as Africans, we are body oriented. You get, like, when I'm asking you how are you in Kiswahili, nakuuliza habari yako. And then when I deepen it, nakuuliza unasikia aje. And when I really want to know what's going on, unahisi aje. Sijakuuliza ati what are you thinking? Ati A and B is happening, what is your critical thought? What is your critical analysis? So the capitalistic world has programmed us to be very, very critical, even in spaces where we should be relational, which is all spaces anyway, even at work. But of course, the guidelines around such interactions are a bit different. But Africans, we are body oriented, which means we start by asking, uko aje? Hapa unasikia aje? Kuja hata ni kuhug. We don't connect head to head. And that is, by the way, at the core of connection is we connect heart to heart. Head to head connection is capitalism work. That is the capitalism programming. Relational healing and relational presence is connecting heart to heart so that we may feel seen, we may feel accepted, we may feel dignified, we may feel that, oh, I can express myself. And that's how we nurture freedom together.
Yeah. So on that point, I want to ask, is there a relationship between somatic healing and meditation? Like, is there a way that you can use meditation in somatic healing? Okay, do you use that's the right
meditation?
Question.
Yeah, in my personal practice, I do meditate, and which brings me to something that I had thought of and it escaped me. But my meditation is to mostly create liminal spaces. Like right here, you've talked about breaking dimensions, yeah? So it's
dimensional break.
Dimensional break. So basically, you're in a liminal space. So personally, I use meditation as a way of creating that liminal space for myself, as a way of quieting my own mind. In session, I use grounding. And when my client and I ground, they naturally go into a meditative state.
Yes.
And it's just that it's not guided. It comes and emerges from the body itself.
Yeah. Because ideally, when we talk about meditation, we're supposed to be meditative. Each and every time you are meditative. So that when you're meditative, you're always present. Yeah. You're always present. So everything you do, you're always at that meditative state. So you don't need to go into a guided session like, now let me sit down, close my eyes. No. You're always meditative because you're always present. Meditation is about focusing on one thing at that time without moving into anything else. So if you're focused on what you're doing, even if it's dancing, I'm doing this dance style, so and you're focused on it, that is meditation.
It is. And there's also another form of meditation, of walking.
Yes.
I go on my morning meditative walks from around 6 or 7 a.m. And it's basically me being present with every step. How are my feet landing on the ground? What parts of my body feel good? Which ones feel a bit tense? And then I'll start noticing, what are the colors of the sky? What are the trees saying? What is the wind saying?
Yeah.
And in that way, I already wake up and connect to myself and all the subtle energies.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. And it's about building that relationship with everything. When we talk about relationship, people always think about between a human being and another human being. Relationship can be you and a tree.
Yes.
I know some people who's just their whole life is just that tree. That tree. And that's why one of the our meditations I always do in quantum business is connecting with nature is having a plant. Have a plant that you are responsible to, that you go giving it water. When you're pouring water to that plant, it's a meditation. Yeah, because you're connecting to this plant, connecting to the life, appreciating the life of this tree, of this plant, which is super important. Because when you realize that you're connecting with other things other than human beings, you are expounding your dimension, your state of being. And by expanding your state of being, these things are also starting to be working with you. They're connecting with you. Trees communicate. One thing, let me just say, when I came to the park here for the first time, I wanted to get a point where I like sitting. So I got some point up there the other side, but under a tree. So I started touching the trees. I started talking with the trees. One by one, I connect with them, talking to them. It sent me to another huge tree on the other end. I stood up like a madman. I just carried my things. I didn't even wear my shoes because I'm always grounded. Shoo, cross, shoo, like very high speed to that end until I found the tree and I touched it. And I was like, all right, I'm here.
Yeah, there's the trees. It's funny you should mention them because I mean we've mentioned them multiple times.
Yeah.
But the trees communicate through their rooting system, such that one tree carries a message from that tree to the next and the next. In case there's danger, there are chemicals and hormones and all these things that will happen that will travel through the rooting system in a way that each tree knows that there's danger coming. And how do I best preserve myself?
Yes.
So the trees are very protective people.
Yes. Yeah, and one thing with human beings is that we always want other life forms to be alive as we are alive. The way we experience life, we want other life forms to also experience life the same way as we are. So then if they don't experience life the way we are experiencing, we think they're not important, they're not alive, or they're not inside. But these things, they're super sensitive. They're even super intelligent even than some of us. Why do we go to trees for healing? It's because of their high frequency, their high energies. So we can access healing, one, by connecting with the magnetic fields, where we sit around the tree, touch the tree, connect with it, then our magnetic fields overlap and we are interacting and we access healing. One way we also use, just take a part of the tree, like the bark, go boil it and drink it. That is still another way, but that is, I can say it's crude, a little bit crude, because using magnetic fields is more technological.
Yes.
Yeah. That is what I like using. And it's usually easier if you really understand what you're doing. But using the bark, boiling the roots, boiling the wood also helps, because healing is about you accepting that I want to get healed. Because healing is about you commanding your DNA, commanding your magnetic field. Hey, repair up. Hey, connect. Release the blockages.
I like that. I like that because part of normalizing healing is also realizing that you have access to this energy all the time.
Yes.
So one of the things I tell my clients is, when you come into this therapy session, I am not carrying healing energy by myself. You're also carrying it. It's just that you're not able to access it yet. When you access it, as you go back home, you'll start telling me what shifts. So I have a client who tells me, nowadays, before I used to medicate myself anytime. Oh, I have a slight headache, I take a Tylenol. I have a slight I take more painkillers. I have a slight stomach upset, I take all this, all that. But since we started listening to the body, practicing it as we interact together, I've realized that if I have a headache, I'll listen. Is it on this side? Is it on this side? And then I'll hold it to support that part of the head. And then when my body feels it's ready, it will let me know that you have to release your head. And my hand is already shaking off to allow the energy again to move as it should. And when they did that, they ended up feeling so much better. And from that point on, before medicating herself, she allows her body to speak and say what it really needs, and she listens as well. So somatic healing is all about this very, very deep listening that can only happen after we ground and negotiate our connection.
Just to pick from there,
Mm.
the DNA,
Mhm.
we talked 3% physical, 97% quantum.
Mm.
So this quantum is the software that runs everything. So when I talk about the Merkaba, it's here like this.
Mm.
So it's on the outside. You to understand it better, think of the Earth's atmosphere.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So you also have the same thing, atmosphere, the Merkaba around here.
Mm.
So when you say I want to get healed,
Mm.
we are now speaking to the software and telling it send codes for healing in this body. It has all the codes. All the codes are there. So it's about you giving the command. But you know, it will not do it unless you give the command and say, hey, I want you to do this. And that's why you have to speak healing. Yeah, you speak it. So the codes come in and they start connecting and everything rewires itself and you restore back things to factory setting.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. So it's all about that. So we really need to use the power of the voice. That is the most important, because that is what we're using it to give the commands, to send the intention. Yeah, because but then if you don't send the intention, it will not work. When you're working with subtle energies, you really have to strive and send it to the. That's why we were saying that other people have released the unblock, they have unblocked their system. That's why they are able to help you to access your healing, because they have unblocked their own, so they can easily help you do it.
Oh, yeah. I'm usually asked, how did you find yourself in healing work? And I said that the path opened up to me.
Yes.
And when I got my own evidence, so in healing, each person gathers their own evidence. Like I used to experience lots of symptoms of anxiety. And then at one point, as my healing journey deepened, I realized that I no longer experience anxiety. And I got actual evidence that my body picked up and knew this is our truth, that anxiety is not part of our experience. Why? Because we have this resource, this support. So even you, when you do your healing and deepen into it, you start realizing that there's a therapeutic language that people are using nowadays. Oh, my anxiety this, my therapist said that. First of all, I discourage that a lot. And I usually ensure in my sessions, when we orient to the healing container, we use healing relational language, not therapeutic language, so that my client can learn how to express themselves in real life situations, in relationships at work, relationships at home, relationships with family. Basically, we build you up block by block, bit by bit, so that the software around you, the energetic field, downloads fully into your body, and then you can translate it as well. Because we are not just human beings on a physical level. There's lots and lots of technology encoded throughout our body. So imagine being able to freely speak to a person you're in love with and tell them, oh, thank you so much for doing this for me. I also love this, without feeling any form of guilt or over explaining or defending, because that is your truth.
Yes.
And then them telling you, oh, I also like this, but next time let's try this.
Yes.
Then it becomes a dance between two people. And then it also becomes a conversation, a language that the two of you can understand, a language that is based on your body's messages, based on your interaction within yourself and with another person. As I speak about this, I'm actually headed now towards somatic healing for women. When was it? I think early November. In early November, I was restless. I don't know. I forget what was happening in the planetary movements, but I felt restless on one of the days. And then my body told me, this tension that you're feeling, it's not meant for you to be in your house right now. Just go outside. And so I thought, let me go buy nyanyas and then I'll come back and see if anything has shifted. And nothing had shifted after me going to the market. So I also realized I didn't have an onion. So I had to go outside again and buy onions. And at that point, when I crossed over the road and met my usual Mama Mboga, I realized I picked up quickly on the conversation she was having with her friend. And I realized that they were talking about their symptoms, their bodily symptoms. They were saying, one of them was saying that, you know, I have gone to hospital and explained to the doctor that every time I enter my house like this, I feel like my children are suffocating me. And that's also touching on the parental guilt. And then the other one was saying, you know, because of where I work, every time I try to sleep, I usually just twist and turn and not sleep. And then I wake up in the morning and have to go to work again. So I'm consistently and perennially tired. And I remember just listening to them, and my heart spoke and said, it's time for you to share this healing message that you're carrying in your body. And so I told them, you know, what you're describing are symptoms. And this is what happens when we talk with our friends. We keep describing symptoms and validating each other. And then we continuously do that without progressing, without asking, now that these symptoms are here, what now? What next? What do we do about them? So I told them that suffocation already tells me something. It tells me that as much as there is space, because I inquired, I asked her, in your house, is the space like crowded like this? Do you have many things everywhere? And she said, no, there's actually lots of space that my children even play in the house. So I told her, then that's a physical thing. It's your body telling you that you need clear boundaries between you and your children. So when you wake up in the morning, you check in with yourself first. Are your toes awake? I'm wiggling my toes. Are your hands aware that they are part of the body? Are your hips even here with you? Is your heart beating the right way? When you do that, your body knows that you're caring, you're tending to it. And then when you come into contact with your children, do you start by saying hi to them or do they jump at you? Because that also talks about the interaction.
Yes.
And if the kids are too little, of course you will not tell them, don't jump at me right now. What you do is you start repair work. So when they come in and they jump with all that high energy and then it overwhelms you, you hug them as a way of relating, and then relax and come back to yourself and then relate with them again. Because again, this disconnection is feeling like we are disconnected again and again, but we are not, we are actually connected. So she tried that. When she comes to her workplace, she sings a song so that the body knows, again, the voice, yeah?
Yes.
The body knows, oh, we are now at work. Before she gets home, she stands by her gate, because that's the instruction that came for her. She stands by her gate and chants a song as well, so that the body knows we are done with the work from the road. We are now headed to, in Kikuyu we say keheri, the inner house, the inner place where I live. So I'm now headed home. When she gets to her door, she knocks. That's also a way of communicating. The vibration tells the body we're now getting into the home where there's big energy and there are children. And so now she flows with that big energy with the kids and dances with it and then comes back to herself. It almost feels like doing something like this.
Yeah.
So that the body knows I am connected, even when I think that this connection is being threatened.
Yes.
And so when I work with women, we also go deep, deep, deep. We go deep into the mind, the way it's conditioned to seek for approval from men. I know you're here. I'm still honoring your presence. Yeah, we come to the heart, which is also looking for connection, but it thinks that when we give in to sex easily, that is how we are connecting. We go to the stomach, which is where we receive nourishment from our parents, not from our parents, from our mothers specifically. We go into our bones, which is where we receive our bones from our fathers. The testosterone from men is used to form bones in children. And we just inquire with the bones, what do we need to support your health? How do I need to show up for you so that we may be well, so that we may start hearing well? Kuigua wega. In Kikuyu you say kuigua wega, kusikia vizuri. Yeah. And then we go to the womb, which holds so much memory, so much pain, so much tension, to allow it to say, what is it that is wanting to emerge, and how can we allow it to be birthed to completion? And then we go to the feet, because when we dance as women,
Yes.
this is how we announce our presence to the earth. Yeah, and all this applies to men as well. It's just that now men do not have a womb, so we will tap into the etheric womb that Mama Earth has created for us. We also, for men, we'll go to the head, we'll go to the voice as well, we'll go to the heart, we'll go to the stomach, so that men stop imagining that women should be tending to them like they're little children. Again, I honor your presence. And then we go all the way to the hips, because even men hold lots of tension and pain in their hips. We go to the knees and then the feet. So the journey is really through the body, but step by step, little by little, and then slowly by slowly. So somatic healing work is very, very slow. If I was to even use an animal, I'd say it's as slow as a tortoise and as slow as a slug.
Yeah. What I know about healing, it's a process.
Yes.
Because it's all about, first of all, you need to discover your body, which is a process. Then again, you discover how to relate with these body parts. Yeah? Yeah. So another thing I've learned here about somatic is that I've also been doing somatic therapy. Because one thing I always love doing is dancing and singing. That is just part of my way of just releasing things. In fact, when I start my day, when I just get out of the house. That is the first thing, and I go do my yoga. I always do yoga out in the field. Yeah, so that is the first thing I do each and every morning. Then another thing I always love doing, I love dancing a lot when I'm just alone. That is what I do. Dancing and singing. And I just do my singing, doing my chants, yeah. And I'm always okay, especially when I really want to be present, because it's all about being present. And being present is doing an activity and being aware that I'm doing this activity without distractions. That's all you need to do. It's being present every time. So an easy way that I always do for being present is singing. I just start, let me sing this awesome song. As I sing and I dance, I sway and I shake. And that's somatic healing.
It is, and it's part of the somatic movement. Yeah. So, again, you keep moving and I'm already going to the water. Yeah, so somatic movement is that allowing of presence. So when I choose to dance, I also dance a lot. So I dance every day or every other day, depending on how busy my schedule is. But when I dance, I come into this present moment and be with myself. And as I'm dancing, I'm noticing, okay, my waist is not moving on this side. What does this side need? I might, like, I'm holding it. I hold it a bit and then it says, now it's okay. And then it starts moving. And that's how we engage in this healing energy every day through somatic movement, through somatic immersion into that healing energy. So movement is healing, yoga is healing, singing is healing, drawing and painting is healing, journaling is healing. It's just that we are not journaling from here and we are not even moving from the mind. We are moving from the body, from the neck down. This is what we are moving through using.
Yeah. One thing I also enjoyed about this session is that when you're saying you're moving from the head, the throat, the stomach, and what, that is the same thing I always do for my 33 vertebrae when I'm doing the alignments. It's only that now this time I do it from the subtle energies. I don't do it from the physical, but I mention the physical parts for you to bring your attention to the physical part. But that physical part is connected to a subtle part of it. So the energy point, the chakra point, the vortex at that point is what I always do the clearings from. So when I bring in the energies that I always bring, the subtle energies, they now go through all those points, the subtle spaces. Because we always do healing from the subtle energy. So from the subtle energy, it now flows down and ripples down to the physical aspects. But no, the physical aspect is what you are used to seeing most of the time. You've been programmed always to look at the physical one. So that's why we are relating your mind with the physical, because that is the data it has that easily comes to it. Yeah. So that is, I like the somatic thing because it's super connected with what I do. It's super connected and it's an easy method of bringing an understanding. Because from what I do, you really need to understand the subtle energies. And if it is new to you, it will take some time for it to get embedded into you normally. So the somatic is easier method because we are using the physical, which is easy, which you always do, and the things that you always do every day. And there are easy methods that you can do anytime. Yeah, anytime. You can start dancing anytime. Come on.
Yes, even right now.
Even right now. Yeah.
So even clapping.
Yeah.
And some of the other indigenous African ways we engage in healing are through like playing with water. There's a community, I don't know if they're Burundians or what, but their women actually drum using the water. So even hitting the drum is a way of healing.
Yes.
Dancing to reggae. Somebody gave me a moniker. They called me reggae mistress, and I love it so much because reggae reminds me to move like an elephant. An elephant stomps their feet like this. This is how they communicate with each other. And this is how women need to communicate, even men.
When you mentioned reggae, reggae is a very important technology. The guys who designed this thing really knew what they are doing. And what I realized about the geniuses who have walked this earth over time is that they decided to design simple methods that you can use without knowing that you're accessing healing. First of all, the beat itself brings things to equilibrium, bring your emotions to equilibrium at the heart. It brings things at the heart. The drums, it's all about sound, which brings you at the heart. Even the dance steps, then you are moving your legs, moving your body, you're breaking in triangles, it's all about bringing the body in equilibrium, moving the markaba, moving the chi, It's all working with you, working with the colors. The red, that is the root chakra. The yellow, that is the solar plexus. The green, that is the heart chakra. So we are all bringing all these things to equilibrium. Yeah. And you know, those colors are about the lower chakras, those things to do with the physical needs, the physical things, the healing, everything about it. So reggae is just a kind of medicine.
It
on its
is.
own.
It's not
Yeah.
just kind of medicine. It is
It's
medicine.
medicine.
So is
Yeah.
dancing. So is
Yeah.
walking. So is
Yes.
listening to the water.
Yeah.
So is spending time with
Yeah.
trees. Like
Mm.
yesterday, I spent like 1 hour in a forest.
Mm.
And then I came out, I had a new message. I actually
Yes.
know that there are people who are awakening, even as we speak right now. I know they are awakening and they're
Yes.
finding this message so
Yeah.
that they may find me and find you.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's so much, this medicine is all around us, but
Yes.
ultimately, we also are medicine.
Yes,
This is
we
why
are.
we are working with healing the body.
Yeah. You know, one of the gifts that I have is I read grids. Like, I can walk to a place and tell the energy of the place. I can just walk to a place and I feel the sadness of that place. Even if the sadness has been there for thousands of years, it just comes into me all of a sudden. So I can walk on a ley line and the energy just on me, and I know there's a ley line here.
Yeah.
The last time you were, when you were on 22nd, when you started singing, when you were singing, if you watch that video, you'll see me at a point I close my eyes. Because there's some energy that runs through me. Because there's a chord I've read from your voice. So I always have this gift. I can listen to someone and I know their energy. So it's a gift that I just have. Yeah. So most of these things that people do, when I do them, I feel the energy, that how it happens on me. So I know this is powerful. I say, wow.
Now I'm curious. I'm very curious. What kind of energy? Okay, this energy that you experience from my voice.
Yeah.
If it had a direction, was it moving up or down?
It goes up. It goes from down, going up.
To up.
Yeah. Most of the time, it comes from down going up.
No, I'm asking you specifically about my voice.
For you, in that that extent, it went up.
It went up from the feet. Mama, from?
No, usually it starts from just around the stomach. Around the stomach, then it goes up.
Then it goes up.
It goes up. Sometimes yours it did reach the crown. It reached my throat. So it was a throat chakra activation. Yeah.
I see. That's beautiful. If it had a color.
So if it has a color, it's supposed to be blue.
It's supposed to be blue. Okay.
Because it's throat chakra. So one of the things that you have a super activated throat chakra.
I do.
Yeah. So your voice is really important for this world right now. So your work should really focus on the throat, using your sound. Because you know what happens with an activated throat chakra is that when you emit a frequency, it's not like using words the way we're speaking. You know, we're using words like when I say tree, the only understanding that is there is tree.
Yeah, tree, the physical thing.
But when you use a frequency, that is a sound, you are emitting a lot of signals at the same time.
That's true.
Different things at the same time. And the people watching, listening, they receive their own. They don't, think of it like a pipe flowing the water or just content. So people drawing from the pipe will only pick what they can pick. They don't pick everything. So what is not for you at this time, you won't receive it. But when you are ready, and then you listen to it again, you receive.
I like that the way you're saying, because now it's time for me to introduce my other parts.
Yeah.
I am a digital communicator who specifically communicates for change and for impact, which means that I'm a cultural curator.
Yes.
And one of the things that I do as a communications professional is that my own ritual, I call it opening the channels.
Yes.
So I do that a lot to ensure that, again, the message that is wanting to come through comes through a portal that is held, a portal that is on integrity, a portal that's anchored in this reality, and a portal that is anchored for healing and healing alone. So yes, I like that so much. And it's so interesting that there are many Kenyans who've listened to my videos over the last 1 year. And there are those who've retained very specific messages. So when they find me or when they meet me in person when they're ready to book a healing session with me, they always tell me, there's this message you put out and this specific line you say.
Yes, because that is the message that was for them to receive. Exactly, that is what was sent into the fields for them, and that is what they need at that time. So later on, when they need another one, they will get another. You get how this
It's
thing works?
amazing.
Yeah, that's like always do when I'm doing my clear. You know, most of the time, I won't come here with. I'll just use my voice. I'll sing some tune. I'll do a chant. But when it's time for you to receive it, the chant I did will work.
Yeah.
That is when it will come in. You know, some people who are not even sensitive to anything will feel like there is nothing going on. That's why in my sessions I try to educate. I pour out the information, because even if they don't understand, they don't really get the quantum aspect, at least they pick something from the words I'm saying.
Yeah, the sensation. So again, our voice.
Yes.
Our voice activates our whole bodies.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever sang a lullaby to yourself.
I always do.
You always do.
I always do.
Yeah, because this physical body needs to be told, hi Abasi, you are awake through the day, you did all this and that. It's now time to rest.
Yeah.
It's now time for you to come back here in the heart, in this part of the body, in this bed, in this space we've curated that's safe for us to rest. Yes. And then the body just winds down and sleeps.
And that's why I do the quantum sound technology that I have 33 variables. So the sound tech is that I have designed them for specific needs, different kind of needs. But now the language I use in them, I use different kind of languages. In some aspects, I use English just for you to understand, because you know most guys are caught up with, still in the mind.
Yeah.
They're in the mind. They want to understand, why am I listening? Why should I?
Why this? Why that? Why?
Yes. So I have to use a language and tell you some things just to understand, to keep you there. But the most important is listening to the vibrations of my voice, what I am emitting. That is the most important thing. So even if you don't understand anything I'm saying, but just listen to the vibration and stay there. Because you know, I told you all this subtle energy, subtle body that you have, the Markaba. Now the physical body has arisen from inside this bubble.
True.
Nona? Yeah. So when I'm emitting the voice, that is the language that the subtle body uses to express itself in this reality. So it uses the sound. That is how it can send the vibration and transmute that energy from the subtle space to this physical aspect. So all you need to do is to listen to that vibration. And by listening to that vibration, it's bringing you your own vibration to this level, to this vibration that I'm emitting.
It's almost like harmonizing. There
yes, exactly.
Do, re, mi, fa,
exactly.
sol, la, ti, do.
Exactly.
Yeah. As I listen to you, as I listen and really tune into myself, your vibration feels like it's coming up through the ears and then going inwards, but on this side. And again, it's also part of that strengthening the throat chakra. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. You know what we are doing here, most of us, we are playing with the throat chakra because we are speaking and emitting all this. Because you have an activated throat chakra. Also mine is activated. So that's why our energies are mostly concentrated there. Yeah. But sometimes also I feel it at the crown. Mostly like when I'm connected with the water, when I'm meditating and I'm in stillness, my crown starts pumping very fast, because that's how it's connecting with the water. I know the information comes from the water. It's not me speaking. I'm just a translator.
Yeah, it's amazing. Because also, so for me, when it comes to creating content, it's usually a river. So it's a river that says, okay, so in this season, so the river is bending this way, so my content shifts. It's this season, so the river is going downwards. Oh, it's this season, so the river has to cover a new path because maybe there's a hill, there's a plant, there's a barrier. Yeah. So it's, I mean, Africans, we are very gifted, we are very connected. Our spirituality is our day-to-day life. We actually don't need all those other books that people keep reading. We need to be present with our own lives so that we may come back to the sacred call. It is right here. Oh, it's almost ringing, yeah? So the sacred call is basically bringing us to here and now, because in the here and now we can relate with ourselves, we can relate with the elements, we can relate with everyone, we can rest and
Yes.
relax in the support of our ancestors,
Yes.
in the strength that they're holding us with.
Yes, everything that you need to know is right here.
It is.
Solomon told you there is nothing new under the sun. Everything is here
Right,
in ether. Just everything is floating around here. It's all about connecting with it. So we are disconnected from this everything. That is the issue we have. So by clearing that disconnection, clearing the blockages in this system, this Markaba, we now open up and connect with everything else, and we access everything else that we want, be it healing, be it information. The geniuses out there who want to create new things in this world, to bring them up. Everything is here. It's all you just need to connect. Tap your antenna right. This brain here that you have is just an antenna. So we have to put the antenna in the right direction to connect to the right frequency. You know, anything that you want to achieve, that you want to manifest, is a certain frequency. So for you to manifest it, you must be tuned to that frequency. So for you to be tuned to that frequency, you have to that's why we do the cleansing, clear the elements, put them in a situation where they can connect to that frequency and tap into that information that you want to tap into. So that is all we need to do. We are blessed, like she said.
Yes.
Our DNA carries everything that we need. We don't need to learn anything from outside. Everything is inside. You know, once I knew this, by the way, nowadays, I don't really struggle or seek information outside. All I need to do is to ask the question, what do I want to know? What should I know at this time? Like when I'm coming to record, most of the time I don't even know what I'm going to do before I switch on the camera. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to say. Yeah, but once I'm grounded, I sit, it just comes and it flows and it goes, because that is the message. I need to ask, what message do I need to communicate today? And it flows. Yeah, it just comes and it picks. And when I realize that I'm trying to force an information, like I realize I even start to struggle even in communication, because you are not connected to bring the flow. Yeah, but when you are tapped and connected, it just comes. Yeah, and the right information for someone who needs to know it just comes. Have you ever been on YouTube and maybe you've been asking a question, maybe even just in your mind, not even aloud. Then all of a sudden you just find the answer. A video just comes up.
It's usually it's such a weird and interesting experience.
It's quantum computing, because our electronics, we've reached a level whereby our own electronics are connected to the magnetic fields. Yeah, so they can listen and tap into the. That's the issue people have with AI. They're like, AI will take over us, but AI has to be connected to the field. The same way us, we are connected to the field. Everything is connected to the fields.
And now that AI is part of the conversation, here's the thing, dear viewer. You cannot use AI as your therapist. AI does not have a nervous system. AI does not understand that you have your own context. And AI also does not make you the expert of your own experiences. This is why I keep inviting you. Book a one-on-one with me. I am a real human being. My nervous system is online. I have years, actually now I have 10 years of experience in the trauma healing field. I have so many resources to share with you. And beyond that, I have my presence to share. So AI will not replace humans. It won't.
Yeah, AI is just, let AI be AI and humans be humans. That's what I always say. Yeah. So mostly in this line of work that we do, presence is super important. Being present, because we want to put you in a situation whereby we avoid distractions, so that you are concentrating, like you looking yourself in a mirror. You get a mirror to look yourself, yeah, and understand yourself. Ask yourself the tough questions and answer them. Yeah. So that presence is super important, because when you're in a present, I tell you the magnetic fields again. We all have different magnetic fields, and our auras are different. That is the magnetic field, the subtle energies. So when you sit with a therapist, yeah, with a higher magnetic field, a higher DNA, you get into that bubble, and you are able to experience life a little bit different than you always do each and every day. Yeah. So in that environment, you are able to meet yourself better. Yeah. And understand yourself and bring up issues that you need to settle and get the healing that you need. That's why it's super important that it's vulnerable. Yeah, we've been going through these, I don't know.
Yeah.
And we can still go on and on and on and on. But I think we need to really stop from somewhere and maybe pick up from here from
a different
on a different day.
Mm.
Yeah, so but now finally, I just want to do some alignments. Today is a full moon. And you know, in full moon, the energies are usually strong because the concentration of the moon being full amplifies the magnetic fields. So whatever you are doing at that time gets amplified into the field. That's why we work with the moon. And just the moon is so feminine. Don't forget that. Yeah. So what I always do in this session is that I just go through the chakra system. I go from the root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and send it to the moon. So what we're doing is that you're going to, we close our eyes, then we imagine. So when I mention a point, your attention goes there, and energy will move there automatically. Okay. Yeah. So just a short thing, a minute for 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So just sit in a normal position as you are seated like this. You're connected to the earth. You can breathe deeply just to relax. So we are closing our eyes. So we want to bring in the energies. So it's during the day, but the full moon is still on. So bring our attention to the full moon. Just see it glowing. And I want to bring in energies. Anta karama shata ente keremekera interese terena inamaka. So let's see this glowing light from the moon. It's coming down to the crown, to the third eye, to the throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral, root, into the earth. So we want to come from the earth up to the root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, back to the moon. Mahadevi. Maheshwari. Jai Ravi. Linga Bhairavi. As above, so below, as within, so without. Blessings. Thank you. Hey. Awesome.
That was amazing. I enjoyed that transmission. Tumerecord